this morning, and welcome to a defensive tackle recruiting update edition of the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor. You all know what to do by now. Smash that like button. It's free, costs you nothing. Do it right now if you haven't already. The other thing you can do if you haven't is subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, get notified. I think we're less than 50 people to go to 4,000 subscribers. That's our goal. We would love to hit that here very soon. So please consider doing that as well. We absolutely appreciate it, and it does help the channel. The other thing that helps the channel is making a comment down in the comment section below. Tell me how ugly I am. Tell me how much I don't know about football, or agree with me. Either way, let's have a conversation down in the comment section below because the algorithm loves it all. So let's make sure and do that for us this morning as well. All right, let's dive right into it. We don't have a ton of time to get into all of this today, but we're going to do our best to fill this gap with some knowledge for you. Let's start with the big news out of Oklahoma that Oklahoma State defensive tackle Justin Kirkland has entered the transfer portal. A couple prominent Ohio State podcasters have shined a light on this instance and think that he would be a good fit for Ohio State and the need that they have at defensive tackle. There is a depth concern for the Buckeyes, and Mr. Kirkland, well, he would fill exactly that. He would fill a big gap because he is a very large human being, 6'3", 345 pounds. Started off at a small Utah school and was able to transfer to Oklahoma State, where he has played the past couple of years and has really boosted his stock, if you will, as a potential future NFL player. He continues to need to develop, however, we understand that. And he would fill a big need for Ohio State. And he's one of those guys, he's going to take on two offensive linemen and allow your linebackers to fill the gap and stop the run game. And so this is a potential person to keep your eye on that Ohio State might go after. Now, hats off to Dave Biddle from Bucknuts, who yesterday during the press conference with Ryan Day asked a question pertaining to this very thing about the transfer portal and filling a need at defensive tackle. Hats off to Ryan Day. Very open and honest answer, was completely transparent about it. It's about a 20-some second audio clip I'm going to play for you. Enjoy this. I think this will do a good job answering where Ryan Day's headspace is concerning Justin Kirkland at this time.
Are you guys actively looking for a D tackle in the portal, and how's that going?
We are, we have, but we wanted to make sure that when we bring somebody in, it has to, be an upgrade to what we have, and so we're not just going to do it to do it. I think that we have looked, and we're going to continue to look, but we're not just going to bring in someone just to do that, and so we'll continue to evaluate that.
There you have it. So they're not just going to look. It's got to be the right fit. I think it'll be very interesting what Justin Kirkland and Ohio State, if he gets the opportunity to visit Columbus. Justin Kirkland recently started following Larry Johnson on the old X machine. So I think there's interest there from Kirkland's side. The question will be, is there going to be interest from Ohio State's side? I think there's obviously probably going to be a conversation had between Ryan Day, Larry Johnson, and Mr. Kirkland. And we'll see if that conversation leads to a potential visit for him to come to Columbus, Ohio, and take a look at what Ohio State might be able to offer him and what he might be able to offer Ohio State for the 2025 season. Now, that being said, let's dive into some recruits. Now, Larry's off to a little bit of a slower start than some of the other position coaches. I think there's several reasons why. Was Larry 100% on board coming back this season? Sounds like he was, based off the interview he gave during spring ball. Also, what kind of negative recruiting is happening because of his age? What kind of negative recruiting is happening because of the well-documented, I guess you could say, lack of a solid foundational relationship between Larry and former defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, who now is the defensive coordinator at Penn State. So they're obviously recruiting against one another a little bit here, at least for the defensive line talent um, that Penn State and Ohio State are both going after. But at the end of the day, I think Larry has focused his attention on a handful of defensive tackle recruits who would make a really good fit at Ohio State and kind of bolster this class, even though this class currently sits at number 5 overall nationally in the 247 composite rankings. So, that being said, I think Larry's going to Larry here. The living legend's going to be just fine. I have a lot of confidence that Larry's going to do a-okay at the defensive tackle recruiting position and the defensive end recruiting position as well. So that being said, let's jump in and start to look at some of these recruits who have their eye on Ohio State for the 2026 recruiting cycle at the interior defensive line position. Let's start with the biggest name, Aiden Harris. Aiden is a 6'3", 240-pound monster of a defensive tackle from Weddington, North Carolina. He's currently ranked 46th nationally in the 247 composite. He's the third highest defensive lineman in the country, and he's the fourth highest ranked recruit from the state of North Carolina. You've got South Carolina, NC State, Auburn, Ohio State, all uh, vying for his services, as well as Penn State. And right now, I think Ohio State's got a better shot than just about any to land the services of Aiden Harris. This would be a huge, huge get for Ohio State because he is a borderline 5-star recruit and one of the best defensive linemen in the country. So, yeah, Larry Johnson, going to Larry Johnson this, my guys. He's on this one. I like Aiden Harris a lot as a recruit. I like him as a player. I think he's going to be a great fit at Ohio State if indeed he decides to come to Ohio State. Watch out for Auburn here, however. I think Auburn's making a serious push to recruit Aiden Harris. And I think Auburn's got the NIL to offer him, maybe even slightly a little bit more than what Ohio State typically does for kids coming out of high school. However, Aiden's gonna have to ask himself what's more important here: being developed, winning national championships, and going and getting possibly getting uh, drafted in the NFL like Tyleik Williams did, or going to Auburn and maybe cashing in on a little bit more of a bag than what Ohio State's going to offer him. That is what this one is going to come down to, in my opinion. Moving on, let's talk about Pierre Dean. He is also a big time defensive line recruit from the state of North Carolina. He comes from Clemens, North Carolina, West Forsyth High School. He is currently ranked 59th overall nationally in the 247 composite. He is the fourth highest ranked interior offensive lineman in the country, fifth highest ranked recruit from North Carolina. So, yeah, he's slightly, maybe a quarter of a step behind Aiden Harris, according to the recruiting experts. South Carolina, Georgia is on his list, as well as Ohio State. And Georgia seems to be the school that is really, really going to be going up. Well, I guess South Carolina too against Ohio State here, but I think Georgia's the main competition. Pierre has official visits scheduled for May 30th to South Carolina, June 6th to Georgia, and June 13th to Ohio State. You guys know me by now. I always like batting cleanup when it comes to the recruiting official visits in June. The fact that he's going to Georgia, then Columbus, I feel good about this one. Now, if Larry could somehow land both Aiden Harris and Pierre Dean, my guys, that would be an absolute haul. Okay, like we're talking two guys in the top 100 who are going to make your class go from fifth to probably second overnight if he were able to get these two guys. Again, borderline possible 5-star recruit. We'll see how his senior year goes. But Pierre Dean, Aiden Harris, If you can get one of those guys, you're feeling good. You get both of them, home run, Larry Johnson at the defensive tackle position. All right, moving on. We have to talk about this giant of a human being. Look at that. My gosh, Carter Lowe, 6'5", 265. That right there is a giant human being. Carter Lucky. I called him Carter Lowe. Sorry, that's a former Buckeye. Carter Lucky from Norcross, Georgia. He is ranked 316th nationally. He's the 36th highest ranked defensive lineman in the country. He's currently being recruited by all the top dogs, including Georgia, including Florida State down there in the South, and Ohio State. Got tons of offers from the SEC schools. He's scheduled to officially visit Georgia on May 30th. He's considered a Georgia lean at this time. Ohio State's in the mix, though. They're going to get the visit the following week on June 6th. And then he's going to wrap it up by going down to Tallahassee, Florida, and taking a visit with Florida State on June 13th as of right now. I don't feel as confident about Carter Lucky as I do Aiden Harris or Pierre Dean. However, let's see how the official visit goes. Again, I think Georgia's in the driver's seat. He is a Georgia kid, no doubt, but my gosh, what a giant human being that is, man. That is a large, large man child, is what that is. And this list wouldn't be complete without talking about some homegrown talent. And when you're talking about homegrown talent, you're going to go to Northeast Ohio and you're going to go to Glenville, right? How about Jameer Perez? He is a 6'4", 360-pound defensive lineman. He's currently ranked 665th nationally, according to the 247 composite rankings. 66th, like I said, at his position nationally. He's the 27th highest ranked recruit in the state of Ohio. He's looking at Wisconsin, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Ohio State. Do I believe Ohio State has given him a committable offer? Maybe not at this moment. However, looking at Jameer's official visit list, he's got Iowa. He's actually got Wisconsin on June 6th. Excuse me, let's back it up. He's got Vanderbilt on May 29th first. Smart kid, obviously, if he's getting a Vanderbilt offer and visit. Then he's going out to Badgerland, Wisconsin, going to visit Luke Fickell on June 6th. Then he's going to Ames, Iowa, taking a look at Iowa State on June 10th. Then he has the official visit with the school that seems to be in the driver's seat here for Jameer's services on June 13th. And then he wraps it up with his official visit to Columbus, Ohio with the Buckeyes on June 20th. Here's how I see this one going, guys. I think Ohio State's going to gauge Aiden Harris and Pierre Dean Carter Lowe. If they feel that they're going to only maybe able to land one of those guys, I think they're going to go in hard on Jameer on June 20th to make him that second recruit along with either Harris, Dean, or Lucky. Um, so is the offer committable? I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like it to me. But on June 20th, if the visit goes well and they don't feel like they're going to get a commit from two of the other guys, I think they put the full court blitz on Jameer. It becomes a committable offer, and they try to wrap him up there at that official visit at the end of the month of June. If you tell me, hey, you guys get Aiden Harris or Pierre Dean and Jameer Perez at the defensive tackle position in this class, I'm perfectly happy with that. You guys know me by now. I love getting some of this homegrown talent on the roster. I know he's ranked 600 and some nationally, but like Chris and I have argued for years, three-star kids from the state of Ohio in the trenches, in the trenches are built different than they are in the South. They have a tougher mentality. They play better in colder weather. If you don't believe me, go back and look at Ohio State performed against Tennessee in the playoff game in December. A lot of those line players were four-star kids playing for Tennessee, and Ohio State had some three-star kids playing for us on the offensive line, and we dominated that game. We are built different up here in the north in the trenches when it comes to cold weather football. And look what's on his hand, his left hand. That's a cast, and he's still balling for Glenville. Okay? Tough kid. He's a Buckeye. He's an Ohio kid. You can't have enough of these kids in your program, if you ask me my opinion. And that's coming true because look at how many kids are circling back around via the transfer portal who were three-star kids from the state of Ohio who are now Buckeyes via the transfer portal. Same thing from the trenches. So if you ask me, if you hold a gun to my head, do we get Jameer Perez? I think on June 20th, if we want him, we can get him. That's what I'm saying here on that. All right, moving on real quick. Let's take a quick look at the four guys we just talked, and I'll give you kind of my impression. Here's where we sit. I feel really good about Aiden Harris. I feel really good about Pierre Dean. I think we have a better than 50% shot of maybe landing both those guys at this point. Now, that could change. One could take the lead and the other one falls behind and decides he wants to go somewhere else, i.e., Pierre decides he wants to go to Georgia, or Aiden decides he wants to go to Auburn, and then the other one gets all the attention. Carter Lucky to me feels like a Georgia kid. However, we're not out of the ballpark there yet. Still feel that that could be a coin flip. And the reason why I have Jameer Perez in the yellow and not the green is because I'm not 100% confident that it is a committable offer. We'll find out. We'll find out late June. And again, I think if Larry and Ryan put the full court press on him, I think we might be able to land them. So that's where we sit currently with those four guys in the 2026 class in this recruiting class. Real quick before we head on out of here, here's today's verse of the day for you, Romans 5:1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. There's not a better feeling in the world that you can have than to know you have peace in your heart through your personal relationship with the Lord Savior Jesus Christ. Have a great day, everybody. I hope you enjoy your Wednesday. It's hump day. By by the time we get to noon, by the time you watch this video, possibly, we've already passed noon and we're on the downturn. We're on the downhill of your work week. Have a great day, everybody. Remember, be kind to one another. I owe Somos OH in Carmen, Ohio, with all your heart. You all know what to do. Go Bucks.